Today, we're diving into a new AI from Google that is, frankly, a bit of a game changer. It doesn't just create videos, it actually teaches itself how to make them better. It's called VISTA, and it represents a huge shift in how we should probably think about AI-generated content. All right, so let's get real for a second. If you've ever played around with an AI video generator, you know the deal. You type in your perfect prompt, you hit enter, you wait, and you get, well, something. Sometimes it's brilliant, and sometimes it's a complete mess. The whole process just feels like a roll of the dice. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. For the longest time, that's been the reality. There's no back and forth, there's no real way to refine what the AI gives you. You get one shot. And if it's not quite right, well, you're back at square one, tweaking your prompt and just, hoping for a better outcome next time. But imagine for a second, what if the AI could take that first draft, look it over, and think to itself, you know what? I can do better. That's exactly what Google's VISTA is all about. It's not about starting over from scratch, it's about getting smarter with each try. So say hello to VISTA. The core idea here is that it's an AI agent that can improve its own work without needing some massive, expensive retraining. Instead, it kind of acts like its own harshest critic. It actively finds its own mistakes, it rewrites its own instructions, and it runs the whole process over and over until the final video is genuinely good. The whole philosophy behind VISTA is something called test time optimization. And trust me, it's a really powerful shift in thinking. The idea is pretty simple. Instead of pouring all your resources into training a monster model beforehand, you spend that computing power right at the moment of creation. You let the AI think a little longer to find a much better answer. So the big question is, how does an AI actually teach itself to be a better filmmaker? Well, it all happens inside this really fascinating iterative process that Google calls the VISTA loop. Let's break down exactly how it pulls this off. The whole thing breaks down into 4 key stages. First, it comes up with a strategic plan. Then it generates a bunch of different options and holds a tournament to pick the best one. From there, a jury of other AIs critiques the winner. And finally, this is the magic part, it intelligently rewrites the original prompt based on all that feedback to start the loop all over again, but smarter. It all kicks off with a blueprint. Before a single pixel is even generated, VISTA breaks down your prompt into this superstructured plan with 9 specific properties. It maps out literally everything, from camera work to the overall mood. This gives it a detailed schematic that it can actually improve on later, instead of just guessing what a vague prompt really means. Okay, next up, instead of making just one video, VISTA generates multiple versions. And then it runs a tournament. Seriously, the videos compete head-to-head, and the winners advance just like in a sports bracket. So the AI isn't just randomly picking a favorite, it's carefully analyzing what makes each one good before picking the best of the best to move forward. Now, once a video wins the tournament, it has to face a jury. And this is a trio of specialized AI judges. You have the normal judge, who just scores basic quality. Then you've got the adversarial judge, which actively tries to find problems. It plays devil's advocate. And finally, the meta judge weighs both opinions to give a balanced final verdict. This whole setup catches subtle flaws that a single perspective would totally miss. And this final step is where the real learning happens. Based on everything the jury said, a deep thinking agent rewrites the original instructions. And we're not talking about a tiny little tweak here. It goes through a whole 6-step reasoning process to figure out why the video didn't work and proposes specific, targeted fixes. Then, the whole cycle kicks off again, but with a much, much smarter prompt. Okay, this all sounds incredibly sophisticated, but does it actually work? Does it produce better videos? Well, the researchers put VISTA to the test, and honestly, the numbers are pretty compelling. Let's take a look at the data. So, just how much better is it? Well, in head-to-head showdowns against Google's own top-tier model, Veo 3, the videos that were optimized by VISTA were preferred 60% of the time. Now, that's not just a tiny improvement. It's consistently beating the very flagship model it's built on top of. And that preference isn't just a gut feeling. It's backed up by expert ratings. When experienced human reviewers scored the results on a 5-point scale, VISTA's final output averaged a 3.78, which is significantly higher than the next best method. In fact, when you just asked those same experts to simply pick which video was better, the results were really decisive. In over 2/3 of the comparisons, they chose the video generated by VISTA. That's a nearly 2-to-1 preference, which is pretty huge. But check this out. This is where it gets really impressive. Look at this specific example of following instructions. The prompt asked for gremlins on a roller coaster moving forward while the camera tracks backward. The standard model got it completely wrong. The gremlins are flying backward at this absurd speed. VISTA, it fixed it perfectly. Now that's the difference between a totally useless clip and something you can actually use. So what's the big takeaway from all this? VISTA isn't just a slightly better video generator. It really represents a fundamental shift in how we can build AI systems. A future where they don't just execute our commands, but they actively work to improve their own performance. So let's just quickly summarize the key points here. First, we're seeing a brand new philosophy, test time optimization, being successfully applied to video. This leads to way better results, with fewer of those weird AI errors and much better instruction following. Now, there is a catch. It's not cheap. It comes at a high computational cost. Each one of these improvement loops uses about 700,000 tokens, which is a lot. The technical achievement here is just massive. This is the very first system that can work as a black box, which means it can improve a video without needing internal access to the core AI model itself. This lets it optimize everything all at once: the visuals, the sound, and the actual meaning of the video, all in one unified loop. And all of that leaves us with a final, really fascinating question. As these AIs that can critique and improve their own work become more and more common, are we just looking at the future of automated content creation, or are we actually seeing the first signs of a much, much bigger shift in artificial intelligence itself?